I'm seriously worried about Jey Uso right now. And no, this isn't just one of those overreactions from a fan who can't handle a bit of suspense. This is genuine concern about where WWE is taking main event Jey Uso after what should have been the biggest moment of his career. After everything he's done, after clawing his way to the top, after winning the Royal Rumble and beating a monster like Gunther at WrestleMania, you'd think WWE would have this all mapped out. You'd think they'd have a red-hot plan ready to capitalize on the moment. But instead, here we are, days removed from WrestleMania, and all we've got is silence, just confetti and celebration with no direction. That's not just frustrating, it's troubling. Let's rewind for a second. Jey Uso went through hell to get here. We're talking about a guy who had to go through Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and John Cena, just to name a few. At the Royal Rumble, he eliminated arguably the biggest name in WWE history, John Cena, to cement his place at the top. This wasn't some fluke win. This was WWE handing him the keys to the kingdom. But even before that, Jey had always been knocking on the door. He was the heart of the Bloodline story, arguably the soul of SmackDown for over 2 years. His storytelling, his passion, his transformation from tag team guy to solo star, this was one of the best arcs in modern wrestling. So, when he finally dethroned Gunther, who had been an absolute juggernaut with the Intercontinental and then World titles, it should have felt like the start of a new chapter. But now, it feels like we're standing at a cliff with no bridge ahead. What worries me the most is the timing. Jey had just lost to Gunther about 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and yet they ran it back. That in itself is a bit shaky booking, but fans overlooked it because they wanted the payoff. They wanted to see Jey Uso crowned, and WWE delivered. Gunther, the guy nobody beats clean, was not only defeated, he was submitted. That's a bold decision, a powerful way to put over Jey. It should have set the tone for what was next, but instead of building on that, WWE hit pause. Or worse, they hit snooze. Then came Monday Night Raw, the traditional reset, the launchpad for new feuds, the night where we finally see the direction champions are headed. Fans tuned in expecting fire. Instead, what we got was a celebration segment that felt more like a reunion than a storyline progression. Jey comes out, full of energy, crowd cheering, yeet chants in full effect. Then Sami Zayn shows up, and then Jimmy Uso. Everyone's clapping and hugging. It felt like a feel-good ending to a TV show, not the kickoff to a new title reign. Where was the intrigue? Where was the hook? Now, don't get me wrong, Jey Uso has always had critics. He's not known for being the strongest promo. And sure, there are more technically gifted wrestlers out there. But wrestling is about moments. It's about energy. It's about connection. And Jey has that in spades. Fans relate to him. He gets real reactions. He moves merch. WWE knows he's profitable. So why the hesitation? Why the lack of investment in his reign? People are throwing around excuses. Maybe WWE wanted to give him his moment uninterrupted. Maybe they're waiting for Backlash to build something. But I don't buy that. A champion's first appearance after winning the title is vital. It sets the tone for the entire reign. Imagine if Seth Rollins or CM Punk had won their world titles and then just showed up smiling and hugging friends. It doesn't happen. You establish dominance. You build rivalries. You raise questions. Instead, all we got was a parade. And look, the timing of all this is messy, too. WWE's currently in this weird shuffle with the brands and titles. John Cena is the WWE champion, he's over on SmackDown, likely feuding with Randy Orton. That's the SmackDown side of things. So naturally, the World Heavyweight Championship should be the top prize on Raw. And yet, when Raw came and went, the title didn't feel like it mattered. Jey Uso didn't feel like the guy holding the world on his shoulders, he felt like a mid-carder getting a thank you chant. That's not the vibe you want coming off a career-defining win. Now some might argue that WWE has bigger plans in motion, that maybe we'll get a surprise heel turn, or maybe Jey will defend in an open challenge at Backlash. And if they do that, great, but why not start laying the groundwork now? Why leave the audience in limbo? WWE didn't even tease a challenger. They didn't give Jey a mic segment to call out the roster or declare himself the standard bearer. They didn't show any enemies lurking in the shadows, not even a stare down, just good vibes and celebration. That kind of non-committal writing can be dangerous, because Jey's not a made man yet. He's not Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. He doesn't have the established legacy that buys him weeks of doing nothing. Every week that goes by without a story, Jey loses steam. That's not on him, it's on the creative. And when you have a babyface champion who still has doubters, your number one job is to silence those doubters with storytelling. There are two clear paths WWE could go from here. 1. you give Jey Uso a monster heel to feud with. Someone who absolutely destroys him, not just physically, but mentally. You tear him down so that the fans have no choice but to rally behind him. This is classic babyface booking. Make him suffer, and let the people pull him back up. Gunther kind of played that role already, but you could run it back with someone new. Maybe Karrion Kross, maybe Drew McIntyre if he flips back heel, maybe a returning Bray Wyatt type. The options are there. Or 2, you turn Jey into a fighting champion. Let him do what Seth Rollins did last year, defend the title weekly, issue open challenges, put on bangers, show the fans why he deserves the top spot. Let his work do the talking, and through that, build rivalries naturally. Someone answers the open challenge, puts on a clinic, and boom, you have your next story. But either path requires action. It requires intent. You can't just leave your world champion floating in the wind. That's how momentum dies. And if there's one thing Jey Uso can't afford right now, it's to lose the momentum that got him here in the first place. Let's also talk about the bigger picture here, because it's not just about Jey Uso, it's about WWE storytelling consistency. You have fans buying into long-term booking, emotionally investing in these characters, but when you crown a new world champion and give him zero direction, it sends the wrong message. It says, this wasn't planned, this was a patch, and Jey deserves more than that. He's earned more than that. This isn't just about fans being impatient, either. It's about trust. Fans want to trust that when WWE does something huge, like having Jey Uso tap out Gunther at WrestleMania, they have a plan to follow through. But when Raw ends and nothing's been set in motion, that trust starts to slip. People start asking questions, people start doubting, and in a world as competitive as wrestling, where AEW is pushing fresh talent every week, you can't afford to fumble something like this. Jey Uso's win was historic, emotional, deserved. It was the kind of moment fans will remember for years. But moments don't last forever. They fade unless you do something with them. And right now, WWE is in danger of letting this one slip through their fingers. If they want main event Jey Uso to truly mean something, to truly be a centerpiece of Monday Night Raw, they need to start building now. Not next week, not at Backlash, now. And for anyone saying, well, they just didn't want to overshadow other stories, I get it. There's a lot happening. Cena versus Orton, Bianca Belair's possible heel turn, Becky Lynch's rumored retirement, but that's exactly why you need to make time for your world champion. Otherwise, you send the message that his title reign is secondary, and that's a dangerous message. If you're a Jey Uso fan, it's okay to feel proud and frustrated at the same time. You can celebrate the win while still questioning the follow-up, and I think that's where a lot of us are right now. We're thrilled for Jey, but we're worried that WWE won't do right by him, and that's not just some paranoid fan take. That's a real concern based on what we've seen play out already. So here's hoping WWE pulls it together, that next week, we see a real feud begin, that Jey cuts a passionate promo and someone steps up, that we start seeing segments with meaning, because if we're going to believe in main event Jey Uso, WWE needs to show us that they believe in him too.